Honk honk, motherfuckers! Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kurt, and welcome back to the MindCrack server, and welcome back the Lucky Potato Food Truck. Not any Lucky Potato Food Truck, the Mega Lucky Potato Food Truck, an 18-wheeler. Everything must go, all the stock must be reduced, because we are going out of business, and it is the apocalypse. The world is coming to an end, so I figured I would empty out the warehouse and park it right in front of our biggest customer here, B00's house, the Lucky Potato Mega Food Truck. So yes, there was a little sequence you saw there at the beginning of me building the Lucky Potato Mega Food Truck. Got a nice little locking system there. This is actually, I need to give props where props are due. This is a Corrales design. I had the idea to make a giant truck for the Lucky Potato Mega Food Truck, and I had no idea how, so I searched Minecraft semi-truck and Corrales. He had a little tutorial video on making a semi-truck with a tractor and a trailer and everything, and kind of took some cues from that design, so thank you very much, Corrales, of course. But yeah, here it is. I'm very pleased with this, and I've always been very pleased with the original Lucky Potato Food Truck that was out over by B00's town hall near Spawn. We'll take a look. It is no longer there for reasons due to recent incidents. Due to those incidents, no flint and steels are allowed near the Lucky Potato Food Truck Enterprises system. Lucky Potato Mega Food Truck going out of business. All potatoes on sticks must go. This is a double-sided, kind of your standard food truck design, but in a giant trailer sort of situation. Start your day with a potato on a stick for good luck is our tagline, and kind of bare bones on the inside, to be honest with you. But we do have our potatoes and our sticks, kind of actually running a little bit low on that stock, but yeah, I've always been, we got the vents on top, always been kind of proud of that, and even though it is, beating a very, very decomposing and dead horse of a joke here, I figured I would get one last little jab, one last little prank, although, yeah, this really isn't a prank, this is just kind of a joke. So parked outside of B00's kind of modern house here. Yeah, the whole potato on a stick thing was kind of, like I said, beaten to death, but I'm not above that. So yeah, decided to do this fun little last build, and I suppose for those of you who have no idea why I keep saying end of the world, last build, it's because if you've not been following any other Mindcrackers, it's because the decision has been made by the powers that be that this server, Season 4, what is colloquially known as the Season 4 server of MindCrack, is going to be reset. You're sure excited about it. I'm certainly not, to be honest with you. But yeah, it's going to be reset. All of this stuff is going away just about a year after it began. That's pretty unfortunate, and I'll discuss that in a moment. But I figured in an otherwise time of sadness and disappointment and kind of suckitude, decided to have some fun and brought back the Lucky Potato food truck. I'm not sure, I don't know if anybody's ever going to come back on. I wish that, one of the many unfinished projects was the BOO and Etho making kind of a Call of Duty style map arena off in the distance. I'm not sure if that's going to be finished or anybody's going to actually be playing that in time. I'll certainly keep an eye, and maybe we'll have one more video if that ever happens, but right now we're just going to take a tour of my personal builds and areas of interest on the server, in no particular order, and one of those being over in this direction, the Juno spacecraft. Yeah, the Juno spacecraft. Probably as proud. I think it was just kind of an accidental thing, and that tends to be the most memorable things that happen on the server are the accidental jokes or kind of inside things. The Lucky Potato food truck is one of those accidental things. Certainly not anything creative. Like I said, I was beating a dead horse with that joke, but what happened out of that, and I'll put a link to the Season 4 playlists, or my playlist, excuse me, to Season 4, so you can relive that yourself if you'd like. So one of my favorite moments, I suppose, but one of my favorite builds is the Juno, probably mostly because I came up with and designed it all by myself. Everything else, like that truck is a Corrales design, I just made a dirt hut over there we'll get to in a minute, and even the Fermilab Wilson Hall is a pre-existing design. That I designed by myself, and all the little science experiments on the sides. I suppose some of you are going to ask me to go up there to check it out, but no, can't do that. It's on its way to Jupiter. You can't just go up and take a look at the satellite while it's billions of miles away. Oh, excuse me. Wanderer. Let's get ourselves under control. All right. Are they? Oh, yeah, that's, I suppose, not gonna do good. There. Do not. Oh, you can't exit out of a one wide hole anyway. We're gonna sleep away this night. This was an area I blocked off intending to build something here, but that never happened. I even blocked it off. It could have fit the Wilson Hall I was making, but there wasn't enough room for the landscaping around it. But we're gonna sleep away the night here. This was stuff that I dug out in anticipation of needing a bunch of cobblestone and other resources for both the Juno. I was considering maybe making a mission control for the MindCrack space agency to control Juno, but I decided against that. Thought it was a little bit too weird, and I really didn't quite have the building chops to take care of that sort of situation. But yeah, Juno I really liked, and of course you can go check out that video as well to see what it looks like up close and the process of building it. So yeah, this was maybe changing my mind, but maybe not for Kurt. One of the other things I changed my mind about, of course, was the racetrack, the boat racetrack, because boats turned out to be quite glitchy and unreliable as heck, so we avoided that as well. So say goodbye to Juno. That's a nice shot. That's pretty cool. I do like people's reactions. Both Good and Zisto had very genuine reactions. What the heck is that in the sky? So I'd say it served its purpose. It's way up there at build height limit is as far as I went up there with that. So kind of cool stuff. Kind of my little hat tip to people who all ask me to build like a space station or something up there, blah, 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 blah. I don't really want to do that, so I built a satellite instead. This was a really cool thing. Zisto's map of the entire island we were on. So much unused space and real estate for genuine possibilities and whatnot. A shame, a damn shame. The Wilson Hall would be right off that map, so we wouldn't have seen that. These aren't updated regardless, but yeah, let's actually go over to my first build on the Season 4 server. A lot of you probably don't remember at all. Yeah, here it is. I'm like, where did it go? It's not here anymore, is it? Yeah, right next to... Whoops, come back. Wait. Right next to Pyro's second, iteration of his library. Came out here, was kind of lost as to what to do, kept dying over and over again, because if you remember, we had no health regen. We had the UHC mode enabled on the server. Kept dying, and got quite frustrated. Built this little hut, which is now underneath all this dirt, and has yet, is completely covered by the sands of time. Which, thinking about it, and you'll see later, but this is some epic. Like, I just want to say, I was in it for the long storyline. This is some epic foreshadowing, just appropriate foreshadowing for what you're about to see near the end of the episode. But the fact that one of my builds has become abandoned and covered in dirt and moss and leaves and foliage and got a tree growing out the top of it, just a year in the making of all this foreshadowing. But yeah, I built a little hut, and my original plan across the river here, we're across the river. My original plan was to make like farms. I don't really like the automated, the rows and rows of different crops and automated, like we have, I'm sure they're great, and some people can like them, that's fine, but I was about to make mention of Seth Bling's, he's got the sheep farms, and they're all like 1,000 sheep in a little tiny 4x4 pen, and, I wanted to basically make like an organic, free-range farm where I would just, I think the last remnants of it is around this lake here. Yeah, I would just plant random stuff around water. I wanted to do kind of what BOO did in his single-player world, which is just have fields of wheat. Let's cover this entire plains with fields of wheat, and also breed a bunch of animals, have like herds of buffalo, cows, I suppose you could say. Yeah, around this lake I had something going. Apparently somebody picked that up and kind of went a little bit with it, but they penned all of my cows and stuff like that. And that was the plan, but then the highway commission came through and built a road right in the middle of my open range farm and started putting up shops, crazy little pixel art shops. So I abandoned this idea because it really wasn't going anywhere, and I was having a hell of a time with the UHC mode because you can't do anything at night, especially when you're dealing with open land like this. But that's really cool. This is Paul Soros Jr.'s museum. In there is all the cool stuff, like the block when Notch came on the server and mined a block, the last block out of Doc's build, and a whole bunch of other things. There's a zombie spawner. It was the first zombie spawner I found under here. My first death is under here as well. But yeah, this is some next level literary devices of foreshadowing I'm using right here. A build of mine that is buried. We actually took a peek in here a few episodes ago to get some resources, because there are chests and items that I left underneath there, pretty much preserved as they were when I left them. But let's grab that, and let's grab that. And what else do we have to look at? We have that. We have, yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I said, I tried to do the racetrack thing. That didn't work out too well. I do personally feel like Spawn Town was a bit of a debacle this season. I mean, it almost, I feel like, yeah, I can make all these kind of comments, but who cares? Let's see who is last to kill it. Etho. Of course, it's Etho. Etho is the one you want to kill, but I don't think he's coming back on the server in his death games. That was a cool addition. That was a great idea by Etho. He talks about that in his last video. Oh yeah, I should say there was a tour, like they did a group tour of the server and different builds, but I was unavailable that day. And also I kind of felt, we did that last season, I kind of felt like that was not too interesting a video the last time we did that. So I'm just doing a little brief overview here of my own builds and my own memories of the server. But yeah, I feel like a Spawn Town, you have this big, awesome town hall here. I feel like the Spawn Town should have had similarly scaled large buildings, like the library was similarly scaled. The flower shop, maybe forgetting about the pixel art on top, is kind of a good scale to match. Because otherwise it was just a bunch of little tiny little plots and things like that that really didn't lend itself to too much. It felt like, was this Arcus who was building this? This was going to match the Royal Chicken was close as well. Again, but the pixel art, that building, just a whole bunch of buildings like that I think would have made for more of a cohesive spawn. But that was an experiment we tried when we first started recording, was to have a organic spawn town, not to have predefined plots like we did in Season 3, although I feel like when you're given a plot of a specific size, you try to use all of it, and it kind of worked out a lot. Yeah, this is cool. This is a nice size of a plot, even though it's kind of a, you know, it's certainly a Zistonian design. So yeah, this is kind of the scale. You know, that seems like it was more appropriate. But I'm blah 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 blah. It is the way it is, and it is being reset. So it is not going to be the way it is going to be for much longer. I guess I can swing by the UHC monument, I suppose. Hallelujah. Just be careful. I've already, in the travels over here, I got stuck, which was like the worst thing ever. I got stuck in a ravine and had to dig him out, this horse, which was the worst. I mean, I'm like, oh, I just want to like finish these builds up and be done with it already. I don't want to sitting around wasting time digging a horse out of a ravine. So I'm taking my time here. So yeah, let's take one last look at the UHC monument. Contrary to popular misbelief, not going to be copied and pasted to the next season. It possibly will be used as a meeting area in future UHC maps. That is, when we play UHC, we will have this as kind of a meeting area where we first congregate, as opposed to just in the middle of the map. That causes some weird confusion. But yeah, I guess with Good, we very recently built the KurtJMac statue, who watches and waits, and looks glaringly at you as you reset the server. And so that was a cool build. So yeah, I guess we can head for our final build, which, like I said, careful, a lot of foreshadowing with that first build of mine being covered up and kind of destroyed and worn away by post-apocalyptic kind of situation. Good lord, how do you get around this place? Speaking of spawn being a mess, there's no way around. Oh, is that only one deep? Can you travel through one deep? Oh god, don't. Yes. No. Okay, well, this is a disaster. Can we go over here? Watch out. I just need to get across the river, man. Just need to get across the river. Oh, okay. We can probably make this jump. Ha! Well done, Wanderer. So yeah, we're gonna come upon a scene, and I'm gonna warn you all. Premonition, apocalyptic, kind of abandoned. Just prepare yourselves. People were asking if I was going to finish. Oh, are you gonna have time to finish the Wilson Hall, the Fermilab Wilson Hall? Finish? Are you gonna have time to finish? You'll have time to finish. Just try to finish it before the end. No, not at all. Because it was more, first of all, more than just the building. I had so many plans for like the exterior, the reflecting pond, the kind of the area surrounding it, the little neutrino detector underwater. Oh, Jesus! Okay, alright, we gotta move faster, And, since the sun is setting, we gotta do this a lot faster than I'm currently doing it. I was gonna build an actual road to make it a little bit easier to get there and back, obviously, from spawn. Okay, I should not be climbing mountains at this rate. But prepare yourself for a sight that will probably not be a happy one, but it is indeed Fermilab Wilson Hall. After the apocalypse, after being abandoned, after having its funding pulled, unfinished, broken, covered in moss and trees, and the water levels, you know, global warming and climate change, the water level has risen a whole meter and just flooded this entire area, which took a lot longer than I'd like to admit. But let's look at it in the sunlight. Hey, get back here, you fool! Stop wandering, wanderer. Get over here. All right, let's tie him up so he doesn't get too far away quite yet. And let's go to sleep. And yeah, we'll do one last little explore of this in the morning. Snoring noises, snoring noises, snoring noises. Boop. But yes, indeed, I originally placed this sign that said I claimed this land in the name of science and whatnot. But unfortunately, it has been abandoned by order of the government. Yeah, I decided actually not to record any of this. I'm surprised this actually worked as well as it did, to just take a bunch of buckets and fill up the water. It's kind of cool. It does it almost by itself if you get enough source blocks going. But this got filled up. The water levels rose all the way around. Our beacon there got overgrowthed and covered by trees, and it's still a little bit visible there. You know, some of the glass got broken out, and there's vines that continue to fall down. Even the lake behind us here rose by an entire meter, which was fun. Took a long time to do, but yeah, I finished it in a sense, in that it is finished. You know, like, I'm finished. Like, at the end of There Will Be Blood. Yeah, there's a tree on top, and the neighbors are home. But yeah, that's actually down there is where the water level was, and the entire thing rose up once. It's kind of difficult to get. This tree hasn't grown. It's kind of difficult to get on the inside, what with all the water. But I can kind of show you around what's left. There's really not too much reason for going up all the flights of stairs, because there's not much but some trees, and even, you know, the overgrowth has spilled onto the inside. Just a sad day for science and progress. Very, very, very unfortunate indeed. And this is where my bed was. And I might die doing this, but obviously, since the water level rose, the place where we were going to have our neutrino detector got flooded. All right, I'm gonna go down here. Hopefully I don't die. And hopefully you can actually see some of the lights have gotten broken out. What I didn't show you guys is that there was a spawner down there. That actually might cause me problems. That's a spider spawner, actually, not a skeleton spawner. But as we come down here, we will see indeed that the water has broken through, and it's all been filled up. There are all the chests and furnaces down there. There's a whole bunch of diamonds and other abandoned things. Some of the walls have collapsed. It was originally supposed to be filled with some water so that I could detect, you know, the neutrinos, but not like this. Not like this. And there is our beacon, kind of stuck in its perpetual mode of beaconless. But yeah, it really kind of reminds me of, I don't know how many of you, this might be kind of a treacherous journey up here with what things spawning and coming down at me probably. It's also going to take about 45 minutes to get back up. But there was supposed to be, outside Dallas, Texas, a project called the Superconducting Super Collider. Let's try up the stairs. No? Is that working? The Superconducting Super Collider was canceled in 1993 because the government pulled its budget. It was already $2 billion was already spent on the construction, the digging of the tunnels for the Super Collider. You know, it was going to be much bigger than the one at CERN. What is that one called? The LHC. You know, for example, this one was supposed to have 40. Oh god, no. This was going to have 40 TeV, which is tera electron volts. That's just basically how they measure the power. The LHC in CERN, the one where we're learning about the Higgs boson and whatnot, only has 8. Only has 8. So this one was supposed to have 40, but it was canceled. Like I said, there was so much construction already done, and even there are pictures from the site now where it's just a bunch of abandoned buildings and even construction equipment and stuff. It is certainly a post-apocalyptic kind of ghost town, and I suppose we can say there are some similarities here between this build and the superconducting super collider, both victims of bureaucracy and misplaced priorities on the short term versus long term progress, which is unfortunate. It was kind of and yes, this only came about after we probably turned off UHC mode. Definitely UHC mode was a hindrance of me being able to build things, and I was really looking forward to this being an awesome thing, but it's kind of awesome in a different way right now. And I think this server will eventually go up on the Play MindCrack server for as long as that's around, and as a museum server, so you can come and pay your respects right here to this on your own. I did have to. There was a last-ditch effort to try to stem the flooding, simply because I didn't want to fill up all this area with water. But that didn't work, obviously, because everything got flooded, and now there are squids. Kind of ironic. I was looking for a bunch of squid ink to get all the black glass, but now they live amongst the glass for which I have already used their flesh to die. But yeah, here is the entryway. Scaffolding has become overgrown. Like I said, a sad day for science, and if you can't tell, I am a little bit bummed that we are resetting the server so soon. Obviously, not something that got my vote, but we're just going to roll with the punches. That's, what happens with anywhere, servers or anything, in regards to if you don't have particular control over it. And I do agree with some people that it was too soon. There doesn't seem to be enough nostalgia almost with this. Like there was almost in the last season, that was up for a long time. There was like nostalgia with different buildings, the Ark, the Spawn Town stuff, the arena that we had there, and all the other giant builds that were made that kind of had, both for us as players and in the game here, but also for the fans and stuff like that. I'm trying to, I'm sure there are things that we will reminisce about once it's gone, but not too much time to have had that nostalgia sink in, I suppose, is unfortunate, but we'll see where we're going. And I think I'll let, where are we at for time? We're all right. I will let the sun set once more, and then we will take, I think I've covered everything I've pretty much built. Oh yeah, this whole stuff, all this, my first use of hoppers and automated smelting has been covered up and is now inoperable and inaccessible. But yeah, we'll maybe wait for the sun. No, well maybe we'll start a ride, because we have one last thing to do here. Don't die, that would be bad. We'll take a ride here, and no, I did not want to do that actually. Get off. Let's get rid of that. Boop, and whatever, I have a bunch of other ones. Boop and boop. All right, let's go for a ride somewhere where we've never been before, just out into the wild wilderness, the unexplored horizons. One last look at her. Fermilab Wilson Hall. And as this, we'll ride into the sunset, I suppose, but yeah, I actually want to get somewhere where it's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. I do like my walking and traveling to the middle of nowheres. That is what my entire channel is based upon. Alright, let's get through this. Oh, I don't know if this is actually the right way to be going, to be honest. I should have looked at the map beforehand. Alright. Okay, yeah, here's a jungle we're coming across. I think there's a desert around this. Up. I'm kind of glad this is actually progressing as well as I thought. There was going to have to be a bunch of like edits and cuts and like, okay, hold on, I'll be here in a moment. So there's a village, nuclear vessels. There's a village here. We'll pass by this. It goes past generic bees and eventually Aurelian's swamp house over there. Trying to avoid this. Yeah, here's a nice open plains. I'm looking for an area which is not much, if at all, touched by the hands of humankind. And yeah, this is looking like a place. And also, ooh, that's dramatic. Also a nice place to watch the sunset. Let me do one last thing here. Kept mentioning I wanted to name this guy, so that is what I'm gonna do. A lot of you already actually guessed his name. I hope I have enough levels for this. I'm going to name him, well, him or her, I don't know what it is, Planet. Planet is indeed a word derived from the Greek wanderer, that is, wandering star, since the planets were seen as points of light that moved throughout the night and throughout the months, so wanderers. And there he is, or she is, Planet. Oh, no, I don't wanna ride you anymore, actually. I want to take off your chains and your saddle. Now that you are named, you are free to wander all of the rest of time here, at least metaphorically. Yes! One last little kick there. Here on the MindCrack Season 4 map, excuse me. I do appreciate you watching. Sorry for being a little bit of a bummer. I'll adapt. We'll all adapt. That's what makes us humans. And here comes a zombie. Speaking of which, so take it easy, Planet. Stay safe. Don't befriend zombies. They're not good guys. As the moon rises. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Kurt. I will see you next time.